So before I get started on solo leveling and what I do and don't like about its first season and as a concept, um, I've been doing a little bit of things. I got some stuff planned for the future of this channel, and something big happened with Avis Demon that I do want to talk about at the end of the video. So stay tuned. Solo leveling is different from the other two mangas I review because this one is more Korean. This one is actually from Korea and the story is based in Korea. It started serialization in 2014 and then kind of became more in America around 2016. In Korea it's under DNC Media, while in America it's under web novel, and that pretty much means you're fucked on trying to read it because it's a generally shitty website. I have a way I read it now, but I'm not gonna say anything about it because they've been on a hunt for solo leveling.
Like a man on the mission to eat some ass.
It's just a whole fucking asshole. So, in the world of solo leveling, there are these dimension ways called gates, and anybody can enter a gate. It's just that people who have the ability to utilize magical energy should enter the gate, and that's where something like the Hunter or Association comes in. My bad. The Hunter Association comes in, and there's several branches all across the world, not only in Korea, but the main story takes place in Korea, so I will be just talking about the Korean Hunter's branches. There are 6, if I'm correct. I don't know why the fuck y'all didn't see it, but I put up a fucking 4 for some reason. There are 6 branches, 7 now in the midst of season 2, and they all deal with it in different ways. There are different classes of hunters, and those different classes do determine your power level. It goes from E to S, and when you're a S rank hunter, you make a lot of money, but you're gonna be more held down with responsibilities like any powerful figure in the media. Going back to the gates, they are of course magical doorways to different dimensions. So a gate, depending on its rank, follows the same rankings as their hunters. That's why certain hunters are associated with certain gates, but enough of a certain level of hunters can take down a higher level gate. Like you'll have, for an S rank gang, you'll have 1 S rank hunter, 20 A ranks, and like 40 B ranks. That's, to compensate for the lack of power. So for gates, the time in gates are different. You can spend up from real life, it could just be you be gone for like a few hours, but in the gate you'll be gone for like you'll be gone for like weeks, and if it takes too long, months and even years to some extent with a certain character. But nothing can really enter out of the gate. Like monsters, they can't enter out of the gate. But in this recent arc of the second half of solo leveling, a group of orcs entered outside of the gate, and this is getting really interesting. It's a weekly release, so I'm actually kind of excited for it. But back on track. So for what's inside of the gate, it's never determined, and it kind of leaves you with an ambiguous piece. So far, we've seen now Jang Sung-rak, the artist for solo leveling, fucking kills it on shading, character design, environment design, enemy design. I know it's probably with Chugong's direction, not Chugong, Chugong, my bad, with Chugong's direction, but it's more or less you're describing the character and the monster without really giving it a physical form. I know it's one of those interpretation things, but I think if you actually give it a physical form, it's fine. So, with solo leveling, there's one glaring issue I want to talk about, and it lies within its characters. Now, one of my biggest problems with solo leveling is, outside of Sun Jin-woo and a few other characters, a lot of the other characters that we're supposed to care about in a certain sense kind of feel flat and one note. Which, if that's what he's trying to go for, then he's doing it well. But it's just that I thought they would have more or less of a relevance. Because in the first season, Jin-woo was fighting to cure his mother of this disease, which I forgot the fucking name of. I posted it in Devin, put that shit right there. So, fucking stab myself in the eye. Mine's better. Thank you for worrying about me if you did. If you didn't, well, it's fine. You still look beautiful today. But back to the characters. So, outside of Jinwoo, who I feel like is well developed in the context of it being somewhat of a isekai series, which if you don't know what that term is, it's pretty much stuck in another world. But for this one, it's not really like he's not really in another world, but it has that isekai feeling. And it might be because of the isekai genre is known for having shitty protagonists. Like I can count on one hand on how many of them are interesting for real. And that's kind of where for me Sun Jinwoo kind of falls flat as in a character. I think for the first season his motivation, it's fine. It's fine for being your character's base motivation and just something to move the plot along, to understand why they would get stronger or why they would work towards that goal, even if that goal isn't 100% stated. It's still a reason for the character to do what they do. That's not bad. And even some other characters, they do have their kind of moments, like the master of the White Tiger Guild, whose name is also White Tiger in Korean. But he has somewhat of a character to where he's kind of a more reliant ally of Jinwoo, and so is other characters. Look, a lot of these names are in Korean and I'm not gonna fucking remember all their names. I'll just put kind of like what they look like there and just put their names down there so you know who I'm kind of talking about. But the comic relief character, again, a comic relief. So for this, comic relief characters aren't as well supposed to be developed, but he does his job well as a comic relief, and a few others do their job well as characters. But overall, in the character department, it's not winning any like giant like good points in it. It's for fine character development. Now, one of the biggest reasons why I compare it to Isekai is the way how Jinwoo's ability works. It works as more of a game. It works as in more of like a RPG, and he even gains a second ability, which I won't spoil. I really suggest you to read this. If you can find a way to read it, then read it that way. But overall, I really suggest you to read it because it's interesting and it's kind of a fun read that you can get through. Like if depending on your pace, you can get through in like a week. But here's one of the biggest things that I actually really wanted to talk about and one of my biggest inspirations for making this video. Solo Leveling has gotten a strong fan base and even gets more and more into the media. So a lot of people want it to be an anime. Me personally, I don't, and here's why. You're probably wondering, since this actually kind of sounds interesting, why wouldn't I want it to be an anime? Especially with this giant Korean manga and manhwa movement, and well, not movement, but like how shows like Tower of God and God of High School are getting into the media and more animated. Why wouldn't I want Solo Leveling to be an anime? For one, I think if Solo Leveling is gonna be an anime, it has a lot of shit to fill because one, the fight scenes, even though there's just still images, look great in the manga. So I don't want it. So for me personally, I don't want it to go down the Tokyo Ghoul route and have a really good manga, but a really, really, really shitty anime. And for that reason, and if it is gonna be animated, it only, for me personally, I only feel like something like Madhouse Studios can work on it because they have the technical skill to actually make it look good and make it look reasonable for what's going on in the series. I think I just heard fucking on. Anyway, I think Solo Leveling would benefit way more as a game. Besides it, having its game kind of feeling for the character, I feel like everything about it screams this should be a game developed by Platinum Games. And if you don't understand what I mean and why you kind of hear a little bit of segment in my voice, Platinum Games, they did Bayonetta 2, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and a third game and another game that I cannot fucking think of right now. But the way how Solo Leveling is, I feel like it would benefit way more from being a Bayonetta style game to where you can focus on, well, you probably don't know. With Platinum, they work on stylish combos while not really focusing on the story all that heavily. And since it already has a story laid out for you, you just have to adapt that piece of the story into the game. Or you can get the author to create a whole new story that isn't really canon, but can still work in the universe of Solo Leveling. But styling, you can make stylish combos and stuff like that. Change out your weapons gear. and put on potions and stuff like that, but they don't really award you for that, so But excuse me, so that's just my opinions and what I think could work for the game. Also, the third game was Nier Automata, and if you don't think solo leveling could work in that kind of concept, look up Lost Souls Aside, and that's kind of what I have an idea for. But overall, these are just my opinions and how I feel like what would represent the media in its best light. You might not agree with it, and you can give your criticisms on it in the comments below. But right now, for channel news and even some Ever Demons news, and some Lord Olympus. So far, Lord Olympus is getting interesting again, like it was in the first 50 chapters. Hera, who I forgot to tell you I discovered Persephone was raped, is now confronting Apollo disguised as Persephone, and she just revealed herself, and that's where that episode ended. And a new one got released before I made this video, but I was asleep at that time, so I will talk about it in the comment section and how I feel about it. So that's the Lord Olympus news. Now for the Ape's Demon news, and I was really excited to discover this. Scott Egg finally got picked up by a studio, and now can get its proper funding and shit like that. It got picked up by Skybound Studios, who's helped on the indie comic Invincible, one of the best indie comics, and even comics that a lot of people can agree on. It's really good, so I'm actually really excited. And it helped work on The Walking Dead, so I'm really excited to see what's going on. Right now, Michelle and the team, they are taking a break so they can get it more in a novel form, so they can sell it out to make money, so they can continue that. Which, not a bad strategy, but overall, I'm actually incredibly excited. But now on to the channel, new channel news and shit like that. So for a while, there was a few reasons why I haven't uploaded for a while, and that's because one, I'm still working on the Yandere Sim script. This one's gonna be really fucking long, and I'm gonna have to probably split that into 2 parts. I'm not sure, but it's still being on the work. So for anybody who was interested in the previous Yandere Simulator part, I'd say catch up with that, because it plays on to what's going on now. Osana recently got released, finally, and I would say this, I'm not disappointed, I'm just more confused why it took 5 years. I know the code was shitty, but I'm just kind of confused why it took 5 years. So for this channel, I think for the time being, and even in the foreseeable future, I will continue to review web comics, writing, indie comics, anime, manga, pretty much stuff like that, and even some games to an extent. But overall, I think I found something to where I can hold ground on the channel for the time being. And the pre-recorded footage you're seeing is from a game called JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Tippy Tap. It's weird. It's actually really fun. I'm just shit at the game, as y'all can see. But overall, I'm interested to see what this future will behold. And yeah, if y'all want me to review an anime, put that down in the comments. And I'm watching Legend of Korra. I just recently finished Avatar, so I'm going on to Legend of Korra. And the first season wasn't bad, but the rest of this would have just been me rambling about other shit, and not that important to what's going on with the channel. So again, what the fuck you had to draw a pass for, bitch? But I'm gonna nope, we keeping this in. I'm gonna end the video before a fucking tow truck come down and just start taking a giant shit. Bye-bye. Wait. I just remembered this. I'm sorry. This is the biggest announcement. I'm gonna be playing a visual novel for like a consistent game on the channel, just in case if I don't have anything else to do. And it's called Moe Ninja Girls. I'm kind of excited. I had already had some footing in the game. Do not know the plot for jack shit. Bye. For real this time. I am out of everything.